Hello, 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 hello. Well, we are a little late for our being early today. This is not the typical time that I go live today, but it's fine. We're gonna roll with it. This is what we're doing today. So if you are catching me on the replay, thank you so much. So happy to be here. If you're catching me live, thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And today we're gonna talk about, are you having fun yet? So in true fashion, as you know, if you've spent any time with me, I don't always know what we're going to chat about until sometimes moments before I hit to record on these things. And so today was no different. And I had a million different topics that I wanted to talk about, but this one just kept sticking out. And I was like, okay, I guess we'll dive into this. So as you know, I do have a Facebook group. It's called The Overjoyed Moms. And my intention with it always is to have more fun, because quite frankly, why would we go through life and not have a lot of fun, right? Adulting all the time isn't so fun if you define adulting as stressful, right? I was actually journaling on this earlier that growing up, people always said when I was a kid, I remember always hearing, well, just have fun now while you can, because when you hit the real world, it's not fun. And you set yourself up for that, right? Like, just have fun while you're a kid, like have all the fun that you can before you get married and have kids, because it's not fun after that. Why not? Why can it not be fun whenever we want? Well, it can, but people don't really like it. So I remember I posted a question in a very large Facebook group one time, and I asked the group, if your business isn't fun, why are you doing it? And that was the question. That was it. There was nothing else involved in it whatsoever. But that question created so much of a frenzy in that group that the post actually had to be deleted because people were getting so angry about it. Can you believe that? People were so angry about it that I would, heaven forbid, equate business to being fun. Well, here's what I know. The more fun that I have, the more money I receive. The more fun that I have, the more love I receive. The more fun that I have, the more clients I receive. So why would I not have more fun? And I remember a couple years ago, I was reflecting on this, and I noticed that my children turn everything possible into a game. Everything possible. And it was in this moment, and I remember it very vividly. My girls, my two little girls, they are currently 8 and 6. They are what I describe as tornadoes when it comes to their toys. They will take every toy out in their bedroom, and then they'll move to the living room and take every toy out of the living room, and then they'll move to a craft project and they'll paint in the kitchen. And at the end of the day, they have tornadoed every single room in the house, right, with their creativity. And I love it. I absolutely love it that they're not in front of a screen and they're playing, right? And so one day, they were in full force. I think it was a Category 5 tornado, whatever. I don't even know if that's how they grade it, but there were Barbies all over the living room. They had set up a Barbie village in the living room, and so there were Barbies everywhere in the living room. And I had no intention of cleaning this up at all. So I said to my girls, I want you to pick up your Barbies. Put them away before we have dinner, clean up the living room, whatever it is, right? And initially they dragged their feet a little bit because, let's face it, it's not always fun to clean up. But then I heard them come out of their bedroom to get the next load of Barbies. And they were on these inflatable bouncy ponies that we have in the house, and they proceeded to bounce themselves to the next pile of Barbies and then race back to the room bouncing on these horses. They quite literally turned cleanup time into a game. And it was no longer annoying, it was actually very enjoyable. They loved the process. They were probably excited to do it again if I had suggested riding your horses to do it, right? But we see this so often that children will actually turn something into a game because it becomes more pleasurable. But as adults, we struggle to bring the joy into it for a number of reasons. A lot of the times because someone has deemed it immature to have fun, right? And immaturity, you can't accomplish something while you're being immature, right? There's a lot of that equation. And so we discount the power of fun because it's work. Work can't be fun, right? Someone taught us that, someone showed us that, and that's what we're living out. And the truth is, it gets to be fun. Your work in this world can be so much fun. Your social media can be fun. Folding the laundry can be fun. Cleaning the dishes can be fun, right? If you think of all of the things that you do throughout the day, when you infuse it with fun, it goes by as faster and it's certainly way more enjoyable. But we hesitate to do that because really, what's fun about doing the laundry? Well, maybe there isn't a lot of stuff that's fun about doing the laundry, but you can make it a game, right? And that's why today's video is entitled The Game of Life and Learning How to Play It, right? So how are you playing this game of life? This is actually a very popular book that was written in the early 1900s. I don't remember the author. The author's first name is Florence. It's a little yellow book, very quick read. It's actually entitled The Game of Life and How to Play It. And she goes through there talking about the power of joy and fun and games, right? And the extra energy that comes with those things. And so being an overjoyed mom here, I love to infuse as much as possible with fun and joy because that just gives me more energy to do all of the things that I desire to do throughout the day. And so how can I have more fun is a constant question that I ask myself throughout the day. If I find myself dreading something, I will either choose not to do it, or if it is something that is a necessity that day, I'll infuse it with fun. How can I make it more fun? How can I make it more enjoyable? How can this be more pleasurable for me? So on days that I do laundry, when I'm folding laundry, I'm usually listening to a podcast or I'm watching one of my TV shows that I don't ever get to watch, just because I don't make the time to watch them. It's not that I don't want to or can't. I just don't make the time to watch them in front of the TV. So I'll watch them while I'm doing laundry, or when I'm doing dishes, right? Typically, in the morning when the kids are eating breakfast, I get to be in the kitchen and enjoy their conversation while I'm also cleaning the dishes. Now, some mornings dishes are not so enjoyable for me, full transparency right there. But that's when I ask for my kids to do it, or my husband to do it, or I remind them, hey, actually I made dinner last night, whose turn is it to clean up the dishes, right? And so when I find that I am not enjoying something, I will, one, either ask, how can this be more fun? Or two, I'll delegate it. Absolutely, because my children are old enough that they can certainly help around the house and do something that I don't want to do. So when it comes to things like your business, because this is so important, this is what actually started this conversation, was that Facebook post where I wrote, if your business isn't fun, why are you doing it? Okay. So when it comes to your business, there are probably things that you feel you should do that you probably don't like. Okay. I remember when I was first introduced into the multi-level marketing things, the MLMs, the MLM kind of thing. And the thing that they were teaching everybody at the time was cold messaging. And you just had this post, this message, and you would just copy and paste it to 20, 30 people a day, right? I hated that. I hated it so much. But at the time, I was convinced that that was the only way to grow my business. And so I showed up and I did the thing, but I hated doing the thing. And so it was no wonder that people very rarely responded to me. And I would just get agitated if they said something mean to me, right? Like, or that they blocked me or whatever it was. And it wasn't until I started my own business and one of my coaches actually gave me permission. And she said, if you don't like cold messaging people, don't do it. And it was so liberating to me because I had convinced myself that that was the only way to grow my business was through cold messaging. And I hated it. It was soul sucking to me. I did not enjoy any part of it. And it felt so inauthentic. So it was no wonder that those messages were not landing well and they were not being received because my energy was gross on the other end of it. And so when I was given permission to grow business my own way, all of a sudden my business took off because I was actually having fun doing it. I was having fun showing up on social media. I was having fun engaging with my audience. I was having fun showing up in Facebook groups and doing Facebook Lives and podcasts and all of that other stuff. It was enjoyable to me, and the infused joy came through. And that energy is very magnetic, incredibly magnetic. And so when you look at how your business is operating right now, what kind of things are you doing? And are those things that you actually enjoy? Now, there is a difference here between doing only the things that you enjoy and never getting uncomfortable and staying in your comfort zone. Getting uncomfortable can actually be very joyful. So you think of the story that I told earlier about my girls making it into a game. When we are uncomfortable, if we turn it into a game and remove the pressure, it becomes much easier to learn something different, to do something different, to explore it, to whatever, right? When you make it a game, right? You think of the last time that you played games with friends. The last time, just this past weekend, my daughter had a soccer tournament, and on Saturday night, the parents and the kids got together and we were playing a game called Code Names. It was so fun, right? There was no pressure there. We got to just hang out and be fun and be silly, and the kids played against the adults. It was really, really quite enjoyable. And so when you bring that joy, when you infuse the work that you're doing with joy, it becomes magnetic. People want to hang out with you because the truth is, if you're sending those messages, you're showing up on social media and you're like, wah, 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 right? Like when your energy sucks because you don't want to do the thing and you're dragging your feet, that comes through your social media. Right? So imagine the angsty teenager that you're forcing to empty the dishwasher, right? And they're just begrudgingly doing it. They're angry about it. They're mad about it. No one wants to be around that energy. No one, right? You're like, just keep it over there. When you're done emptying the dishwasher, just go back to your room because nobody wants to be around that, right? Like, it's gross, heavy, depressing energy. Nobody wants to be around that. Now, to the children, the little ones, right, when they were bouncing through the house, cleaning up their Barbie dolls, that was infectious. Everyone, like, I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to hop on a little jumpy horse and clean up my Barbies as well, right? That's the power of the joy. It becomes incredibly magnetic to your audience when you're showing up from a space of joy. So what I want you to do, and this is an incredible exercise, I talk about it all the time. It is just so, 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 so powerful. because the more that you can show up in joy and doing things that you love, the more magnetic you're going to be and the better attractor you're going to be, which means that your business is going to grow. Okay, so here's this exercise. Very super easy, very, very simple, but incredibly powerful if you actually take action on it. So exercise, very easy. I have called this for years the love, like, hate, delegate exercise. So love, like, hate, delegate. Okay. And this is a very fun exercise. I do this periodically when I find myself kind of feeling stagnant around my work, or even the things that I do around the house. And so what I do is I will fold a paper into thirds and I will have 3 columns. Okay. A love it, a like it, and a hate, thus delegate column, right? And of all the things I do, I will write down all the things that I love, that I'm like, I'm absolutely doing that thing because I love it so much. It is so enjoyable for me. I'm totally doing that thing. Then there's a like column where I'm like, I can get on board with this. It's not necessarily my favorite thing to do, but I definitely don't hate it. So it's going to go in my like column. Okay. And then the things that I hate, that I'm like, oh my God, no, like no, I'm not doing this. Don't even think about asking me to do that. That's absolutely not happening. And I will delegate it. If it's something that has to be done, I'll delegate it. If it's something that doesn't have to be done and I simply hate it, I just won't do it. Like, that's not happening, right? Like things that I hate to do around the house. Cleaning hair out of the shower drain. I will not do that. That is a husband job. That is not a me job. I won't do it. Even though it's probably my hair 99.9% of the time, I ain't doing it. It's gross. Not doing it. That's in the hate column, right? So when it comes to the other 2 columns, for instance, at home, I love to cook, but I don't love to cook every night. So I love to cook like 4 of the 7 nights a week, right? Like 4 nights a week is pretty standard for how many nights I'm cooking, but I love to do it. So I enjoy making the dinner. I enjoy putting the foods together. I enjoy the grocery shopping now because I've changed my grocery stores and I love going grocery shopping. Before it was delegated. It was I ordered online and I picked up in store, and that was the extent of my grocery shopping because I didn't love where I was grocery shopping. I actually hated where I was grocery shopping, so I did it as little as possible. It was exhausting, it was draining, and so I actually switched grocery stores, and now I love where I grocery shop. And so I have no problem going there. I'm excited to go there to see what they have, excited to make new recipes with my family, all those things, right? So that is that example, right? Like, dishes is probably in the like column. I don't mind it sometimes. Sometimes I do find it rather therapeutic, but there are other times where I delegate it and I'm like, I don't want to actually do the dishes today, so somebody else is going to have to do the dishes, right? You can do this same sort of exercise with the things that you do for your business or even at work. Right? If your business is not where you want it to be yet and you are still working for somebody, that's totally okay. You can do this exercise there. And if there are things that you have to do, can you turn it into a game? How can you make it more enjoyable? How can you make it more fun? Right? Because that's going to be incredibly powerful for the work that you're doing. So in the love column for the things that I do for my business, love column, Facebook Lives, podcasts, YouTubes, all the things. I recently had to readjust my relationship with social media because I was not loving it. I was feeling very disgruntled coming onto social media. And so I did have to heal that relationship and say, okay, actually, how can I make social media more fun? So I unfollowed or unfriended or removed a bunch of things that were not enjoyable. Like, I want to come onto social media and have fun. I don't want to come onto social media and feel bad about myself. And so I had to reframe that relationship. So those are things that I love. I love blog posts. I love writing out my posts. I love that part, right? Things that I like about my business. Honestly, there aren't a lot of things that are just in the like column. It's like I either love it or I've delegated it. But when I first started with my business, I was putting together the podcasts. And so I was doing all of the editing. I was putting it together because I learned how to do it pretty quickly. It wasn't that bad. And then I delegated it because I was like, you know what? I don't love this. I like it. I just delegated it. Same sort of thing with my website. I didn't love my website at the beginning, but I felt that I had to have a website up. And so I created a website. Didn't love it. Didn't really enjoy it at all. And so I actually delegated it and had someone else create a really beautiful website for me, which inadvertently I still didn't send people to because I was on social media all the time, right? But when you're in that space, you can think of the things for your business. What is it that you really love to do? Because that's where people are going to gravitate towards you anyways. Do you love doing podcast interviews? Do you love Facebook Lives? Do you prefer to do written ones? Do you love TikTok? Like, what is it that you love? Because that's where people are going to find you. That's where they're going to gravitate to you. So figure out what you love. And if you realize you don't really love social media, but you know that you should, heal that relationship. Look at that. Figure out, what can I do differently? Do I need to be on social media at all? Or can I simply do a podcast, right? That's totally acceptable. There are plenty of people who are incredibly successful that are not on social media, that have podcasts and have thriving businesses. It's there. It's there. It's available to you. So figure out, if it's going to be fun, how are you going to do it, right? So how can this be more fun, right? That's what I want to leave you with. I would love to see if you did this quick exercise with the love it, like it, hate it, delegate it columns. And I would love to know what you love to do and where you're showing up best, because that's really where people are going to find you. It's going to be most magnetic when you're in that joy. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be on the lookout next week. We're going to have a fun video. There's going to be some announcements coming up because I'm so excited for what's about to be released. It is going to be a game changer, but I'm going to leave that to you. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And as always, be big, be bold, and be opulent. Bye, loves.